Well, hey there, everybody. Rhonda Boyle here with RhondaBoyle.com, and I am delighted to bring you my guest today. Nicole Seichter is a Gallup certified StrengthsFinder coach. How you doing, Nicole?
Oh, I'm very well today. Talking to you, it's just a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. Let me tell everybody a little bit about you. You are originally from Germany, and now you live in Lake Orion, Michigan. So Nicole specializes in helping people manage and alleviate stress and burnout in both work and in their personal lives. She has 3 kids, has been married to Wolfgang for 21 years. That's a serious feat, right, for anybody. And so she knows quite a bit about people, and she loves to explore options to grow and develop corporate teams in positive and productive ways. Welcome, Nicole.
Hello.
So let's start out and tell everybody what your top 5 StrengthsFinder talent themes are.
Of course. Thank you so much. So I'm leading with empathy, connectedness, maximizer, learner, and positivity. But I want to include my next 5 as well, which is activator, which is developer, which is adaptability, belief, and woo. Because of course they are working every day in my life.
Every day, all day, right? You are more than your top 5. I like to tell people that because it's so very true. So I am thrilled to talk to you today about your newly released book, Enjoy, a new approach to stress and burnout prevention. And I know this was a labor of love for you.
It was.
And it was fun to read. And so I really want to start with, I really want to go over the book because I think you bring out so many important points. And I want to start with this quote that you have at the very beginning. And you say, the more you know about yourself and the power of your own uniqueness, the more you are prepared to face the stress and challenges of life. And by this, prevent and protect yourself from stress and burnout. And you also go on to say that until you were exposed to the Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment and your results, that you really felt so wrong, like you were just wrong all the time about yourself. Tell us more about that.
So leading with empathy, I felt sometimes like an alien in a world. Germany is very head-minded, very structured and very disciplined, and being someone with a lot of relationship talent themes, what I know now, I felt just wrong because everybody was so good in school and moving forward. I have my degree in economics. I am from universities, but still I felt like there was always this void in me, like, am I right? There is something, what I'm missing. Others are different than me and they are okay with it, but I was never okay with being like really feeling this void in me. And after I came to the States, that was in August 2013, I was introduced to StrengthsFinder, and that was a point that I said, wow, and that's what I need. Like, I was working after I finished my university, I was working with corporate business as an assistant marketing, and all the way, like, I said, corporate business, that's not what I need to do. And that's why I changed and became a coach about 10 years ago. And then I collected a lot of tools, came back, came to the States, and that's when I was introduced to StrengthsFinder, and that was when I knew, okay, I am not wrong. I'm not an alien, but I have that's a gift, what I have been given. That's what I learned, that I can introduce other people feeling the same. How can they move from feeling strange, feeling an alien, to being the perfect and wonderful, unique person, what they are supposed to be?
Right. And I think you've had a common experience. I think we all grow up feeling a little weird and a little odd. I remember when I got my results and I found out that I had woo, I was like, finally, somebody knows who I really am. And for the first time ever, I remember my shoulders went back and I felt stronger and more powerful just taking the assessment and learning the names for how I'm naturally gifted. So I think anyone who takes the assessment, they have a similar experience.
It's beautiful. It's just really understanding, finding the language for yourself, for your true self. And this celebrating your own uniqueness. You don't need anyone anymore to tell you who you are. Finally, you can see it on the page and understand, like learning about all the facets of your true talents.
Yes.
For me, it is connectedness. If you read my book, this is just talking about connectedness. What is linked together? Why are we the person we are today? How is it linked with the past? And what can I do about it in order to get myself to a different place to be happy? Because that's my true purpose, I think, on this planet. I want to make people smile. How can I help people to be happy? And that's by being themselves and no one else.
Right. Being who you really were born to be.
Yes.
Now, in the book, and I'm not going to put any spoilers out here. You guys need to go get the book, Enjoy. And so you're talking about, you mentioned something in here about the difference between the comfort zone, the stretch zone, and the panic zone. And you actually, there's that meme that runs around that says that everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. But you say in the book, and I'm going to quote, if you don't work in your comfort zone, this can lead to stress and even worse, to burnout. So how does this kind of fly in the face of, the modern belief that you can't get anywhere or grow until you get into, get outside of your comfort zone? You're actually suggesting that people kind of stay in there to some degree. Tell us more about that.
A wonderful question. Great question. Really, I love that you really have, you took your time to read the book.
Sure.
That's phenomenal. So thank you so much for that. But for me, it's like really explaining there is one side, of course, your comfort zone. The stretch zone is in the middle and the panic zone is there. So comfort zone is what you are used to do, what you are, who you are, with your talents, with your talent themes. The stretch zone is the zone where you learn to leverage your talent themes. So you start with a small comfort zone, and by starting to realize the beauty of all your facets, this zone grows. And that's where you are the most productive and the most powerful person what you can be. The moment you are not using your talents and your uniqueness, you step out in the panic zone by confronting, comparing yourself with others, by using or by not using really your zone, but using different talents. That's where the panic zone is. And that's completely opposite, like really talking about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. You have to stay in the parasympathetic nervous system in order to be creative, to find answers for questions what you have in life. You won't find it if you are in a panic zone and if you use the sympathetic nervous system, because that's all about survival, blank survival and nothing else.
That's true, right? I mean, and that's what a lot of people are in, that survival mode, aren't they?
Yes.
And it's because they're stretched so far beyond their comfort zone that they get into that panic area or areas of weakness.
I wouldn't say that they are stretching. I honestly, I think Don Clifton said, how many people went to the grave without knowing what their talents are? So that's, I think, the point where we have to understand a lot of people out there, 17 million people, almost 70 million have taken the Strength Finder now. But there are 7 billion people around the world. So these people like really dealing every day with their challenges, what everybody has. We are alive, so we will face challenges. That means that they are continuously approaching situations where they cannot deal with because they are not aware of their own power and their own creativity. And that's complete panic zone and stress. So we have to introduce them actually to understand, see who you are, and then go from there.
Right. That becomes the starting point.
Yes.
On page 36, you mentioned and I think this is an important point about how we're actually wired. You say that originally stress was designed to help people survive, nothing more and nothing less. Its origin dates back, who knows how long. And back then it was a mere matter of survival, but the world has evolved, but not the foundation of your brain, because your brain works still exactly as it did originally. And so as stress helped you to escape your life and save your life, and we may not still be running from predators, but we're still running. So what kind of things have you seen in the work that you've done with people who are in this panic zone or they're completely stressed out? What kind of things have you seen
It's
have
um,
happened?
I collect a list. There are a couple of things what I'm mentioning in my book. It's really just simple things, like if you're permanently approaching the situation that you have wet hands, or that your breath is not even, or that you have back pain, or like even you have problems to fall asleep in the evening. That's
Right.
that's stress. That's blank. Your body is talking to you. Body, mind, and soul is one thing. And if you're not using what you have been given, that means at the end of the day, of course, you can conquer maybe 5 years, 10 years. At the end of the day, there is a response from your body, and your body is talking to you. A lot of us, we just are in denial. We close our eyes, we shut our ears, and we say, no, that's not happening. That's why I can do that. I can do that. And all of a sudden, woof, there is such a deep red traffic light, and you are just like over it. And that's when burnout already happened. And
Mm-hmm.
coming back is really, but there are signs, and these signs, what I'm mentioning here on my page 37, 38,
Mm-hmm.
these are small things where you can start to understand the body, your language uses to introduce you. You are in stress. Be careful, because you have just one vehicle on this planet, and that's your
Right.
body. It's just one. You cannot replace it. You cannot go to GM or whatever and replace it. No, it's done, over. So that's what I want to make people aware of.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be cautious.
Yeah, they really do. You mentioned in here on page 39 that being permanently in the fight and flight mode will guide you into permanent stress mode, the perfect launching point for burnout. And there's a lot of people there today, aren't there? A
It's
lot.
I think the biggest challenge is that the system we are used to live in obviously is not working. The
Mm-hmm.
numbers of people sick with psychosomatic, or like all these sicknesses, this is increasing over and over again. And people, instead of understanding the language the body told them, like to understand the facts, they are moving back in their old job, and they continue the old pattern. And then
Right.
again, they have another cancer, a stroke, or whatever. Eventually, we will never know this. Maybe someday that the scientists will understand completely the messages the body is sending, why cancer develops, and everything like that. But the beginning is we we have to understand our own true self.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing what I want to like give with my book to people. It's all about you. It's starting with you, and the more you close your eyes, the bigger the slab will be, the more powerful the slab will be, what you're gonna have. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm working with corporate business, and how can people be really differently positioned in their life, in their company and organization, in order to make them really capable of using their uniqueness and their creativity.
Mm-hmm. I think that we have so many people in the world today who are just stressed out of their minds. And you mentioned some great things that the body, and I believe this so totally, that the body is trying to tell you, pay attention. This is a problem. This is here because you're not living in alignment
Yep.
with your life. And, and what do? We go and we take an aspirin or an ibuprofen, and we mask it.
Mhm.
We come up with these diseases that cannot even be cured, and we don't even know how we got them, but it's our body telling us that something's not right. So one of the things that I love about this book and what you teach in here is how people can actually create for themselves their own stress protection plan or stress prevention plan, actually, right? So tell us more about that. You actually have a name for it, and so tell us what that's all about.
Okay, so the plan is simple. Enjoy, as I called my book. It's an acronym, and it guides my clients, mostly corporate business, because that's where I felt the most pain, being in corporate business and seeing how people are interacting with each other just without a lot of self-worth or a lot of knowledge. They are, some of them are more capable of using language or whatever, taking the knife and putting it in the back of the other one in order to grow and to jump up the ladder. So that's what I experienced more than one time in my corporate business life. And that's that I said, what can we do in order to create something handy that you can use for yourself? We have to understand we are unique. So it's not that I can take the plan Rhonda Boyle is using for her life to be not stressed out or to be relaxed and healthy and happy. I have to understand I have to create my own plan.
Yes.
So that's when I started with the Enjoy process. It's an acronym. E stands for embrace who you are, because that's the foundation. Stop right there. Then N is nurture what you have. This is the strength protection. How can you use the knowledge you got out of Strength Finder, the talent themes, to protect yourself from stress and burnout? J is like jump. It's not possible like putting a toe in the water and seeing, okay, that could work. No, you have to let go of the past and being courageous to start your own plan in order to make it really happen on the long term, not just for a month or 2 months, because that's where most of these plans fail, because it's not who they are. They are just like some plan, and at the end of the day, they cannot continue to do that because it works against them. So O is about optimize. Like after you created your own plan, you have to embrace and to include nutrition, sleep, and your time management in order to make this plan stable and really solid. And then why? It's all about you. My approach is holistic. It's really with breath work and with mindfulness to really make people aware that this is something what they actually have in their hands. They are powerful. And by including all of that in the plan and the development plan, what I created for them, that's there's a link in the book where the people can go to my website and download a PDF to really start their own plan.
Isn't that amazing? You say in here that, quote, stress and burnout prevention can only be solved on the individual, personal level. And I so agree. And you said to be able to achieve this goal, your first obligation is to recognize what makes you unique, to understand who you are, and to truly appreciate and love yourself just the way you are.
Yes.
How many of us do you think actually do that?
Well,
not enough, we'll just say.
We see that a lot of them are really struggling because of the pattern, what they are used to live in, and maybe not being courageous. And I really would love if this book could be used like a crunch for a lot of people to really start their life. There was a wonderful lady from Chicago, from the university in Chicago, Lewis University. She's a career counselor, and she says, I'm going to work with this tool because this is what I think what people need to understand. Even starting a second time, their education, how do they actually make the next step? by including their true self. And that's, I think, the language. Can you imagine if everybody on this planet would know about the talents, but then, of course, act on it? How less stress would be out there? I think
it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and you and I so agree in the world and the vision that we see for the world, where everybody gets the opportunity to do what they love and be who they really are, you know, so that they can be their very best. And that's what it's all about for both of us. I know, coaching people through that.
Yep.
So I love that you're part of this movement, and I love being part of it too. And I'm so glad that you joined me today.
Yeah. So you're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let me show again the book. It's Enjoy, A New Approach to Stress and Burnout Prevention. And Nicole spells her last name Seichter. So go out and get it. And Nicole, tell everybody how we can reach you.
I have a not so bad website. I have a wonderful lady. She helped me to create that one. So Strength for You, that's just my company. And
it's the digit 4, correct?
Correct.
Strength for You.
If you Google me, and then there is, of course, another YouTube video from Gallup. They recorded it back in February about the book myself. So if you Google Nicole Seichter, I think you will find, because I'm usually as well on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter as well now. So
great.
I think there are a lot of ways out there to find me.
Good. Well, I hope our audience gets out there and finds you and goes out and gets your amazing book that can help them plan and create their own personal plan to avoid and prevent burnout. So thank you again for joining me. And thank you for joining us. This is Rhonda Boyle, and you can find me at rhondaboyle.com or in the Facebook group called The Very Best You, where we nerd out on StrengthsFinder all day, every day. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye-bye.